I had a lot of flashbacks at the beginning. I had a lot of nightmares.
He took my job away from me. He took my friends and my sense of self.
I was going to work hard and try and get my life back. The decision was mine to take that as far as I wanted it to go. It's a hard job to get used to, policing. Every single situation is different. I found that first year very overwhelming. It was a huge, huge learning curve for me.
And she was posted to Kitimat, and none of us had ever heard of Kitimat in northern BC.
For the first year, I was on straight night shifts.
When everyone else is off, she's working, so it was hard to make friends. She did start skating there and did meet some young women through skating.
I would go during the day on public skating times and go practice for hours. As soon as I walk in the rink and smell the ice, it just feels like home. Skating was the big constant. I did that for my whole life. Skating was always the one that I came back to.
It was the love of her life, and she had to do it.
Things can change in a heartbeat, and they can change very, very drastically in a heartbeat.
Laurie was a junior member, obviously just coming out of training and arriving there. And basically my job was to supervise her and mentor her as she's gaining experience in police work.
I probably will always have different things that spark images and trigger thoughts about that day.
And there's nothing we could have done to know what was waiting for us on the other side of that door.
Yeah, this is the one, Unit 15.
On November 27th, 1998, I was trying to execute a search warrant at the house of a suspected sex offender.
We had Constable Byron go cover the back door, and Laurie and I went to the front door. Laurie had stepped off the porch, and that's when the first shot rang out. It was a sawed-off, high-powered rifle. Well, the first round went through the door and into her leg just below her knee, her right knee. Shattered the bone.
I smelled gun smoke and felt pain in my right leg and looked down and saw smoke billowing from my shin. And that's when it all hit me and my brain figured out what happened.
At that point, Laurie shouted out to me,
"I've been shot." And he said, "What?" And I said, "I've been shot."
I grabbed a hold of Laurie and dragged her to the nearest cover.
It was just searing pain through my leg, and I could feel my leg dangling. I knew when they were arranging for an air vac to come that things were bad, because nobody gets air vac'd unless it's real serious.
We received a call from our youngest son in Brockville. He had just had a call from the RCMP that Laurie had been shot. We stayed by the phone, and over the course of the evening, the news got worse and worse. And I can remember the surgeon saying, in cases like this, we sometimes have to amputate.
I woke up in the hospital about 3 in the morning. And I remember the cardiovascular surgeon even having tears in his eyes when he was explaining that he just couldn't get the circulation going.
We were devastated because we have this beautiful daughter who's lost a leg.
I was told that they had amputated my leg. It took me 10 days in the hospital to actually lift up the covers and take a look. I just couldn't believe what was there, what wasn't there.
We thought that her career was at an end. She wouldn't be able to do all the things she loved.
I cried. I was very overcome with emotion because it's just such a visual. It's a powerful visual. My foot is not there.
It wasn't really till January, I think, when she and I moved to Vancouver and rehab started. And Vancouver is very depressing in January. That's when the depression really set in.
There was a massive full-length mirror on the wall, and I just saw myself on my crutches and broke down.
Every morning she was up at 7 and left for rehab because she needed that routine, or she would lie in bed and feel sorry for herself.
My mom was trying very hard to console me, but was pretty much inconsolable. Initially, my anger was mostly directed towards the person who shot me, and it was directed towards, I think, God. I felt like I've lived my life being a good person, and I didn't think it was fair. I thought it was really, really unfair, and I felt really shafted.
I was filled with hatred, but you know, the only person who suffers there is me. And once I realized that, it was time to move forward.
Her rehabilitation was basically 5 days a week for 2 or 3 hours a day. She's very goal-focused, she's very intelligent, she has an incredible sense of her body.
I would come crying many days, tears, angry other days. I wanted to be able to do things now, and the fact that I couldn't drove me crazy.
From 2 crutches to 1 crutch to a cane, and then in short order, she was walking without any aids.
The goal, after she could walk well, was to learn to run and pass the physical exam to enable her to get back to work.
The para test is our physical abilities test that's all recruits have to go through it in order to become a member of the RCMP.
If I could pass this para test, I could go back to my life, and this was the thing that was standing in the way.
Very physically demanding. Pushing, pulling, jumping, running.
Linda and I and my mom all went to the gym. I'm gonna get it over with, and I was gonna kick butt on it, and it was never gonna stand in my way again.
She was partway through it and doing really well when she tripped.
All I could hear was this wooden bar that I was supposed to jump over. I heard it crack, and I fell to the ground and had a huge meltdown. I took off my prosthetic, fired it one way, swore, and said, I'm never coming back. Linda was the one responsible for giving me the confidence that I needed to be able to go back. We were just going to run some laps and see how I was doing, and I ended up doing the test this day, and she had it on video. And at the end of it, we were like, wow, I think that was it. I think that might be good enough.
Day one?
Day one. I felt like a huge weight had been lifted from my shoulders. It was such excitement.
Returning to full duty was critical to her recovery, to her self-esteem especially. She would only feel whole again if she could go back to what she was doing. After about 7 months of rehabilitation, she really wanted to skate again.
My prosthetist came with me to the rink, and he'd never set foot in a rink before, and he was there making adjustments on the leg. He was just so focused on getting me what I needed to get back to skating.
When she first putting the skating prosthesis on, she was getting a little nervous because this is not my everyday job to fit a skating leg.
I guess that fear of not being able to do something that I loved was just there, and I thought today is the day I'm going to know whether or not this is going to be part of my future.
She started holding onto the boards very tentatively. It was like seeing a child become an adult skater in 2 hours. Well, I cried when she skated again because it had been so important to her, and it was something that she and I had shared for 30 years.
It's just one more big part of my life that I was able to take back again.
I was working general duty patrol, and I did that for 2 years in Kitimat, and I moved to Vernon in July of 2001.
In September, she began her new assignment as school liaison officer.
There are 4 high schools in Vernon, and I basically spend 1 day a week at each of those high schools.
At our school, she's expected to role model RCMP lifestyle, and she speaks to classes regularly.
So the Motor Vehicle Act is what you're normally going to get your tickets under. There's lots of people in here, I'm sure, who have gotten tickets. Yes? Anyone? No tickets in here? Yeah, right.
I think she's awesome, actually. Yeah. She's a really great person, and she's, I don't know, kind of a hero to me.
My life is really good. I thank God every day that it didn't turn out worse. I live in a great house. I'm engaged to a great guy.
I decided on my own to surprise her and hope for a yes. So I got the ring and I proposed to her and she said yes, so here we are.
And she managed in 3 years to get her life back in order, so we're very proud of her.
I think this whole experience has made me a better person. I think that I have a lot more sensitivity now than I did before. I appreciate people a lot more for who they are and what they've been through and where they've come from. So I think if I serve to motivate anybody into just trying and seeing what they can achieve, then that's great.